Welcome back to the Sisterhood Society podcast, you guys. I have a very different tune than last week. I don't know. There's a little spring in my step, which makes no sense because I feel like I shouldn't have any joy, but I do. I'm like weirdly hyper today and I'm not sure why. I just realized I left my coffee in the microwave like 2 hours ago. I should probably go get that. But anyways, we have a really fun episode. We just thought of it 30 seconds ago. So aren't you guys so blessed?
It's going to be real in depth.
It's going to be so planned, so outlined and thought out. No, our best episodes are really just off the cusp. I was almost going to say off the crisp. What is
Off the cuff?
Cuff.
Oh, I'm saying cusp.
Yeah, it's cuff.
It's off the cuff. Like this, like sleeve.
Cuff.
That makes no sense.
I don't know where it originated. I just know that that's the correct one.
Let's say off the crisp. Okay, so it's off the crisp. And we are going to do a ultimate Nashville guide because I think this is something, one, I get asked all the time. So this will be a really nice podcast to like link to. And two, so many of you guys like visit Nashville. I get this question probably twice a day in my DMs. You guys get it a lot too, I feel like, because the people know your family lives here.
Yeah, a decent amount. Yeah.
So I obviously probably have the best suggestions, but you guys have been to a lot of places as well. So, just kidding. I feel like you can speak to also where you've been and what's the best places to eat. And if we have any funny memories along the way, we can share those too. So before we dive right in, I'm going to ask for Whitney's good. I'm going to get my coffee out of the microwave. Well,
she always starts with me.
She does. I think it's because of the way she can see you in the Zoom.
Oh, maybe.
You're always
my good. So Isaac and I led worship on Sunday and that was good. It was fun. We don't usually get a chance. I mean, it happens about once a month. And we lead at the Bloomington campus. And yeah, we got to lead a new song that I was terrified to lead, but I did it somehow by the skin of my teeth. It tested my vocal range, but the congregation seemed totally fine. So yeah, that was fun. And now we get this next week. Well, Isaac doesn't have this next weekend off, but the weekend after we have off. So we're able to hop on down to Nashville, which I'm really excited about. I feel like it's been a while since we've been down there. So very excited about this podcast to learn about all the new places that Kate's going to take us to. Tara, what's your good?
I had a good week. I actually went to, it's so funny, but one of my friends, Lisa, had asked me like 9 months ago. So I was talking about Costco and she was like, she does that sometimes with friends and then goes and gets dinner. Does like a Costco run and dinner. And I was like, I want to get in on this like Costco run and dinner, like count me in. So she's asked me like 4 times and it has not worked out. And I'm like, I promise I am not purposely turning you down. Like, please keep asking. So that was Monday night. And then Denise was in town for spring break. My friend Denise, my roommate Denise.
It's real.
And, so it was good to catch up with her. She's home periodically throughout the year. So I usually try to like get in touch with her when she's here. So we had a good time.
Where does she still live in the state?
No, she's in Arkansas.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
Yeah. She's been down there for since 2020. So almost 3 years. I think it was August. I think she said August of 2020, she moved down.
For those of you guys that don't know, the listeners that don't know our life before Raylan Reese, me and Whitney lived in California in junior high and high school and for college. And I've talked about this since, but now thinking back, like I understand why Dad didn't want us to go cross country. Cause like if I had an 18-year-old that was like, yeah, I want to live 10, 15 states away. Now I can understand why Dad was like, no, you're going to go to school in the state. But at the time I was like, nah, Dad, we're going back home. But me and Whitney both wanted to go back to Illinois. So Whitney did 2 years in California. And somehow I got to bypass the first 2 years because Dad was going to originally make me go to school for 2 years in California, but joke's on him because I didn't get into any of the schools. So I literally got declined for all of my applications.
What schools did you apply to?
Well, let me take that back. I didn't get into Azusa, which is where Whitney went. And then I got waitlisted at Point Loma, which let's talk about the sexism. They said they have too many girls. I was like, excuse me. They said they wanted more male applicants. I'm like, well, excuse me for being smarter than a man and wanting to go to college.
Wait. You didn't get into Azusa.
I'm just kidding. It's not really sexist. I don't think I got into I didn't get in anywhere. Like I didn't get into ISU. I literally, I only got, what is it called when they like push you back and you get like, is it
waitlisted?
Or like, no, deferred? Is that what it's called?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can defer a year.
I had a friend that got into Point Loma that was a male who had a much less GPA than me. So I knew it wasn't my GPA, but my GPA wasn't great. But neither was yours. So let's just
No, mine actually was really good. But I'm confused as to why you didn't get into Azusa. Azusa is a lot easier to get into than Point Loma.
I don't know, but mom and dad should count their blessings because I went to Heartland and it was like $800 a semester. So it was like so cheap. And I loved community college. Like I did not care about like a college, like campus experience and like a dorm. And like, I was like, no, I'm so happy like going to community college. I don't know why, but I was just like, I didn't care. And I actually like loved my campus and I really liked my professors at Heartland. So
I will say some of the best classes I've ever taken were at Heartland.
I know. I really like, they just like don't get enough credit. Like they don't get the street cred they deserve, you know?
Yeah.
Well, and you guys didn't really lack like a social aspect either because you had so many friends back here already. So it wasn't like you were going away to like a random school where you knew right. The town, didn't know the town or didn't know anyone.
Yeah, so at this point,
Kate had Britt Moses in like every single one of her classes.
I know. I either had Tim Traeger, Blake or Brittany in every single class. So we'd like sit down before we would go and we'd be like, okay, let's get as many classes together as possible. Someday we'll have to talk about that ceramics class I took, but not for today.
Do you still have any projects?
No, every single one of my projects blew up in the kiln. Not a single one made it.
Like, how does that even happen?
Okay, note to the, like, words to the wise or the unwise like me. Pottery is different than ceramics. So if you think you're taking a pottery class, you're not. If you sign up for ceramics is like sculpting. I thought I was going to make some bowls and some flower pots. And I was literally sculpting like castles. And do you remember like I had to do that? Like,
I do.
So embarrassing.
They were really bad. They were like,
do this project about like, oh my gosh, I feel so stupid even saying it because I literally felt so inspired when I was making this project. And now that I'm looking back, it's like the most cringe thing ever. I had to do this like project about like self-discovery. And I was like, he was like saying like, what's a life decision? Like sculpt a life decision that has like really radicalized your life or like a turning point. So I made the state of California with a big fat high heel stepping off of it because I was going to fashion school.
Let me tell you, she came home and she was so proud of it. And I was like, what is that?
It was so bad. First of all, this was an elective and it cost me more hours than any class I had ever taken. It was so hard. And I was so mad at myself because I was like, this has like lab hours. Like, this is not an easy class. And the shoe was literally like one hunk of like clay. And it was supposed to be like hollowed out because otherwise it blows up. And it did. And he had helped me fix it. The only silver lining is we had this British teacher who was like 43 and his name was Mark and he was so dreamy and he always used to go, maybe. And
you're
so
like,
I only liked it because I thought he was cute, basically.
You're like, someday I'll tell you about my ceramics class. Actually, that's today. Today's the day.
What's so funny though is Kate would come home, her and Brittany Moses would come home with their creations and I'm actually an art student at ISU at this time. And so I see creations. I actually have to critique them in all of my classes. And she comes in with hers and I literally can't even tell what it is. And she's like, it's a shoe. I'm like,
it's really bad.
It is? Wow.
I was trying to make like a black Louboutin and it was just like really, really bad.
Coming from the girl who doesn't own even one single pair of Louboutins.
I know I should though, but I've heard they're very uncomfortable. But what I was going to say is I spent a lot of after hours with this teacher and I was like, maybe there's a chance. Like, I was like
first of all, he'd get fired. Second of all,
it would be like one of the romance novels that I read now, like teacher smut. So,
oh my gosh.
I'm just kidding. I don't actually read teacher smut. It's just
Sarah's eyes are like,
it was like, the next Patreon book club is ceramics teacher versus student. Anyways, it was a very treacherous experience. But other than that, I loved all of my classes. I had this one history teacher that used to only, remember how you said Indy when he talks, he only looks at the corners of the room?
uh-huh.
I had a teacher that did that. He would never make eye contact with students. He'd be like, in 1946, World War was still going on. And the Brits, like he literally would never look at the class. So every time you say that, I think about that teacher.
I think it's like a way for them to like remember what they're saying.
Yeah, it's like a deflection situation, but he ended up being a very terrible person. So we won't talk about what happened to him. Do you guys not remember?
No.
He got murdered by his son.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because of bad things he did. So we won't. I was like, we won't discuss it. I just did.
It's a story for another time. Anyways, he did this.
So wait, is it my turn to say what's good?
Mm-hmm. I don't even remember.
Let me think. You said yours? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, my good
Costco.
Oh yeah.
My roommate Denise.
My good is that you guys are coming to town. Honestly, I think that's why I feel excited today. I was telling Dad, I'm like, you're going to see a lot more of me because the girls will be here. And he's like, oh yeah. And I was like, you ready for all the noise? And he's like, it's just so good being around those kids. And he's like, and the good news is this time I might be able to hug them with my arms. Oh my gosh. If you guys didn't hear, our dad had like a crazy situation happen, medical emergency, and he broke both of his shoulders and had to have surgery. And so I had to pick him up from physical therapy today. And he was really excited. And Mozzie is very excited for you guys to come too. She told me today. She's been texting me. So
I'm sure she has.
Her little paws are like
she's out of her bread haze once she takes her bread nap.
It's like that it's like that cat meme where the cat is like at the computer.
But I said this last week. I am going to John Mayer tonight, which I'm very excited about. I literally can't stop thinking about it.
Dude, whatever happened to John Mayer? Like, he hasn't put out new music in a really long time, but he's so good.
Well, he did. He put out that record in 2021.
I haven't listened to it.
It was in like October. And then
I'm no longer a fan.
He toured all last year. This is an acoustic show. It's just him, a guitar, like his acoustic guitar, I think, and guitar. And then I think he has one guitar player and one drummer, and that's it.
Oh,
like,
wow.
I think it's like a 3-piece situation, which is going to be really cool.
Yeah.
Because his production was pretty cool on the last like tour. But I think this is my 7th time seeing John Mayer.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
I think I've only seen him once, actually.
I'm not going to claim I'm his biggest fan because I'm probably not, but I am a very large, what do you say? Like, I'm a big fan. I stan him.
I'm one of his larger fans.
I am one of his largest fans. Literally and figuratively speaking, I am his large fan. You know what's funny about that is I have been eating better. Even last night, I went to Chewy's and I didn't finish like 2 baskets of chips just by myself. Like, I really limited myself. And I was like just now starting to feel like my pants were zipping. And then I'm like, great, now I got to get these injections and be puffy again.
Well, that was what I was doing before the the podcast. And this week so far, according to that, I've lost 1 pound. Last week last week I lost like 9, and this week I'm only down 1. Like, come on.
Evening out though, 10 pounds over 2 weeks is insane.
I fasted 3 days this week.
Yeah, but like part of that is like if you have a big poop, and then like if you are losing water weight, and then like you're starving yourself. So it's not that weird.
I'm not starving myself. I have fasted. There is a difference.
No, I meant like keto starving. I'm teasing you. I remember the first time we did keto, I texted you like the morning after we started, and I was like, I've lost 3.5 pounds. And you were like, I hate you so much.
But you're like, it's from my bowel movements.
Literally. Yeah, that's what's treacherous about this is like the medicine from the first round is like just now out of my system, and now I'm starting over. Like I literally started feeling normal like probably a week ago, and I'm like, cool.
It's all the carrots you've been eating, huh?
You know, I did. I had lots of smoothies with carrots, chunks.
For real though.
What it is, I need to get a Vitamix because I've been thinking about it for like 4 years, but they're like $350. Sometimes they're like $500.
Yeah. Why do you need a Vitamix? Does a regular blender not blend up the chunks?
No, like a Vitamix is like a professional high-powered blender. Like if you went to a smoothie place, they always have them.
I bet it's on DoorDash.
It probably is.
No. Instacart. That's what.
Oh, I was like DoorDash.
Kate just rolls with it. She's like, probably does.
Yeah, like sure, whatever. Well, you know what's weird about that is Sephora is now doing deliveries where you can get. Was it Sephora? Where you can get like same day delivery delivered to you.
Yeah, I saw someone I know did that.
Anyways, so today we're talking about Nashville. Wow, we took like a big journey to get here. You know, honestly, I feel like the best part of the episode is the beginning when we're just shooting the shite. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so Tara and Whitney are coming to Nashville this weekend or early next week, and we thought that since they're coming, one, we want to shamelessly plug our Patreon because it is the future of what we want to invest time in with Royal and Reese, and it's become just like a really sweet place for us to connect with you guys on a deeper level and share more of our lives. And we will have, we're hoping, daily vlogs and just like Nashville related content the next week for you guys. Tara will probably head that up because she seems to be the most consistent with filming. But
yes, we failed miserably in Florida. We were like, hey, the first day we're here, and then it was like, and we're leaving.
Actually, I worked so hard on the first day.
Kate is the one that had all the content, and I had maybe a few, and Tara had like one from the first day.
Yeah, I thought that I was going to be like Miss Vlog Central. Like I really thought I was going to be really on top of it. And then I don't know what happened.
I just want to forewarn everyone too that if you are on Patreon already, or if you are planning to join, I promise I will do my hair for this week.
Oh, I was going to say that should have been your good, is that you did your hair.
Oh my gosh. I watched back that week and I was just like, it was the epitome of how the week felt. My hair was the epitome of how the week felt because every day I was just like, oh my gosh, why do you just look like you just stuck your head or finger in a light socket every day? It was just like curly hair sticking out.
I mean, you did have Briggs to deal with the entire time, along with dogs. I was going to say your good could also have been, from Kate's perspective, that your last pair of flip-flops broke.
Yeah.
You know, like, good point.
I don't hate a flip-flop when it's worn in like the proper context. I just don't like flip-flops as like an everyday shoe, especially when they're just like a plain rubber. Like I just feel like, I don't know why. I think it's because they're so incredibly casual that like when you have this like nice outfit, you're like, oh my gosh, you're so cute. And then you get to the shoe and you're like, what happened here? You know what I mean? It's like,
in my personal defense, we did live in California for a very long time. And the flip-flop, especially rainbows or Havianas, those were the shoe of choice. And so that is one thing I brought back with me from California to Illinois. I just, however, don't wear them in the winter time like Tara does.
I honestly did not wear them all winter, but I did wear my Nike like backless tennis shoes instead. So I don't know if that's necessarily an upgrade.
No, I had a pair of, I don't know if you remember this, Whitney, but do you remember the family I nannied for had those really pretty dogs? The
Yes.
Eskimos. They used to have, what were those dogs called? They're like an
Australian Shepherd. It was the same that we had.
But they were like fluffier than Apple and gray.
I think they were just fatter.
They were so cute. They had 3 of them. But when I used to nanny for them, I used to wear my rainbows, and they had this really awesome pool in their backyard. So the boys would swim and I would just like lay out. It was like the best job ever. And one of the dogs got her name was Roxy. She got a hold of my shoe and she chewed. Do you remember I had like chew marks all over like
your rainbows because they were leather?
Almost chewed through the whole thing. And I wore those for like 3 years. Those chewed rainbows.
But here's the thing with rainbows is you have to break them in and they like mold to the shape of your foot. So if they get chewed, that's such a bummer because then you have to start back over with like molding a new pair to your feet.
And weren't they like $39, which when you're like 14 is like so much money. It's the most expensive flip-flops ever.
Something like that. I just know that me and my friends had them in like every single color and we would wear them literally daily.
Yeah, I used to wear those Converse without socks and your feet used to smell so bad.
I did. It was unfortunate. But then I switched to rainbows and then I got I was known for my tan feet because our school was outside. And so I would just wear flip-flops all the time. My feet would get really tan. Those were the days.
Tan all the time. But anyways, so wait, where did we start? Patreon, Nashville.
Okay.
So if
Tara's flip-flops are in the trash.
If you would like to
enjoy, my life is officially over.
Wait, what?
My Javiana season of life is officially over.
You can always get another pair.
Yeah, but they're like $36.
I know. Flip-flops are expensive for how little material you get.
Yeah.
It's a scam.
I could serve my money now.
I have an extra pair of silver ones you can have.
I think I actually have a pair of black ones you can have if you would like them.
Your feet are too small.
No, they're size 8s.
Yeah. I wear the 9s.
Yeah. Yeah.
So on to Nashville.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so let me just preface this before we start that I don't love recommending like the hot spots in general. So you probably won't catch me talking about Broadway, but if you would like to go to Broadway, we can talk about that too. Because I also get the fact that like if I'm going to go to Seattle, I'm going to go to the fish market. You know what I mean? Like you got to go to like the touristy places because they're for you. So I also understand I can like throw in some of the touristy places too, but I feel like what you want to know is like, where did the locals go? So that's what we're going to try to tell you. Oh, Whitney, by the way, Hillary. Okay. Here's the Hillary shout out. We missed it on the last podcast, which is such a shame because we had like a 4-month streak. Hillary always goes to this coffee place in Franklin and they're claiming it's the best coffee in Nashville.
Honest Coffee?
No, it's like Alabaster and Onyx or something like that.
Haven't been to that one, but
I haven't either. And her and Steele always post about it. And I'm like, I gotta go there. Maybe they have a good chai, Tara.
all the those kind of coffee places usually are too small. And then a lot of the times they're really gingery. So it's not that they're not good, but they just have like a little too much flavor for me.
I need to take you guys to Dozen Bakery though, the coffee shop.
I've been.
Oh yeah, you've been. I keep forgetting that. I always keep forgetting. I keep forgetting that you guys went, but we just went on Sunday again and they had this pecan bar. Oh my gosh, Terry, you would have loved it. It was like really layered and caramely and then had big pecan chunks on the top. And then I got the focaccia egg sandwich. But yeah, the first thing I was going to say is I get asked where to stay when you stay in Nashville. So as far as like my advice for you, I would always look on Airbnb first. I think that makes way more sense than spending money to go to a hotel. The hotels do have cool accommodations. And if you want to stay right downtown, you can. But a lot of the boutique hotels, because I've stayed at a lot of them are in the $600 a night range, sometimes more. But the Bobby we've stayed at, and we've gone to the Joseph, and both of those are amazing if you're interested in like the boutique hotel route. Another hotel that's not as expensive, but it's not right downtown on Broadway, but it's like Midtown-ish, is the Graduate. And it's super cute. It's really bright. They have a really cool lobby. And I think that's in the 300-400 range a night. They have a rooftop bar called White Limousine. That's really, really cool. Has like this huge head of Dolly Parton you can take a picture with. And it's very like picturesque. They have a coffee shop on the main level called the Poindexter Cafe, and it's really, really good. Otherwise, as far as what areas to stay downtown, I would say in East Nashville or Germantown, which are both like about 1 to 3 miles right outside like downtown center. I used to live in East Nashville, and there's a lot of areas that are not as safe, whereas Germantown might be a little bit more expensive, and you might get less space, but you'll probably pay a little bit more than East Nashville, but it might be safer as far as where you stay.
One place to note that is, I feel like just a classic, but it is not even close to Nashville, is Opryland.
True. That's true. And that would be really fun with kids. That's another thing we get asked, which I'll have you guys speak to, is like what to do with kids. But should we just get all the like food out first and then activities?
Yeah.
Let's start with breakfast. Where you guys want to talk about?
Okay, coffee.
If they're willing to drive, Brentwood's really not that far from anything downtown.
True. Yeah. There's hotels in Brentwood, obviously, and you can do like the classic like Holiday Inn. I live still in a Nashville address that's on the border of the Brentwood like line, which Brentwood is a suburban of Nashville. And our parents live in Brentwood. So it's 6 miles from Green Hills, which is like a main area where the mall is and like grocery stores and stuff. The Green Hills Mall is like one of the main places people shop. So it's 6 miles from downtown, 6 miles from Green Hills. Like it's not that far. So it's 15 minutes basically anywhere I go, which if you live in a big city, that's not very far. So yeah, if you want to get further out and you don't want to stay downtown, you don't have to. Okay. Well, should we do breakfast and then do coffee places?
We
sure.
do coffee first and
okay.
then breakfast.
Okay, Whitney, go ahead. Do coffee.
Okay, coffee. This is my area of expertise. So everybody listen up. I have tried almost everything. Number one place is Bongo. We have Bongo in East, and then there's also one that is in would you consider that the 12 South area?
It's it's next to 12 South, but you would just say like Belmont. It's on it's like across from Belmont Boulevard.
It is. It's right across
on Belmont Boulevard, but across from the college.
Yes. So those are delicious. They are a little bit more pricey, but they are a true coffee house vibe. I always get the caramel latte. It is delish. Then next up, we have Frothy Monkey. Those are literally all over Nashville. It's probably where Isaac and I go the most because we get kind of a fairly straight shot from my parents' house. Very good caramel latte. They also have some good a lot of really good pastries and some good breakfast stuff, but it's just like your typical coffee house.
Isn't Bongo the one that has like the good cake slices and stuff like that? Because
Bongo has them, and actually Frothy Monkey also has them.
Yeah, actually, are Bongo and Frothy owned by the same person? No, they're not. They just have similar foods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Barista Parlor. I know Kate is trying to say that crema is her favorite. I do not like their latte. I don't like their coffee, and they're pricey as all get out. So for me, I pass on that. I like Bongo and Frothy, and then Barista Parlor is more of an experience. For coffee, you get a really good latte. Definitely go with the caramel whiskey latte. It is delicious. And you will pay a little bit more, but you're also getting a really good coffee in exchange. We've tried out Honest Coffee in Franklin. That one is actually pretty good. It's decent. Actually, it's very good. But our favorites are the top 3 that I just named. We have tried... I'm blanking on the names. I was
going to say Barista Parlor has one of the best egg biscuit sandwiches with bacon. Oh, yeah. It's like insane. So if you want to go there for breakfast, they do have breakfast things. Crema also has really good avocado toast. And Crema's always really busy on the weekends, and they sell out of their donuts really fast, which really gets on my nerves because I always want a donut, and at like 10 a.m. they're gone.
Yeah, that's actually very notable. So if you are going out just for coffee, Bongo and Frothy are great for coffee. Food is just is pretty good. Frothy Monkey has had some like really good pastries, but if you're wanting food, I would skip those and go to Barista Parlor because you'll get really good food and really good coffee.
Oh, Bongo has a good breakfast as well. Like they have this thing called the Bongo Basic, which is like scrambled eggs, hash browns, bacon, and toast. And it's like $11 and it comes with a cup of coffee, like a cup of black coffee. So again, all these places do have good breakfast food. Frothy used to have this breakfast called the Californian, which was like open face sourdough toast with over easy eggs. And then you got avocado and sprouts and salsa. Oh my gosh, it's so good. So there is like good breakfast option. Oh, this is what I was going to say before I lost my train of thought. What's the bakery I just was talking about? Dozen. They never run out of their pastries, and that's something I really appreciate. That has charisma.
Actually, you are incorrect because
I was there at close on Sunday at 2 p.m. and they still had pastries.
I went right after church on our way out of town. Not the last, or maybe it was the last time we were there. I don't remember. All I know is I wanted croissants and scones, and Isaac came out with like one random scone. And he waited in line for 40 minutes for this one random scone because they had sold out of everything. And I was like,
they don't really do scones. They have like the bars. They have tons of muffins. They have a pull apart croissant that's like monkey bread. So good. They have tons of cookies.
We went, it was literally like Isaac got in line and then all of a sudden all these people started getting in line too. So I feel like maybe it was like post church and they just were like wiped out of everything. So by the time he got up to the front, there wasn't a whole lot to choose from unless he was like willing to wait. And I had the kids in the car and Ever was crying. So he ended up just like getting the one thing he could get his hands on. And so I guess it depends on what time you go.
Yeah.
Don't go on a Sunday after church.
Okay. So the only other noteworthy coffee places is if you are in Germantown, there's a really popular coffee place called Steadfast. They actually have really good food as well. There's also a couple other coffee shops that I never go to, but my brother-in-law is a big coffee connoisseur and he goes to, oh crap. No, I can't think of it. Hang on.
I know what one, and we tried it. It's kind of over by Germantown, but like past that park.
What's it called? Does it start with an R?
I don't know. It's like has a skull, right?
Yeah, Jeff goes to it and I can't think what it's called. Okay, let me pull my.
It wasn't bad, but it was kind of out of the way for us and it wasn't amazing. But here's the thing. Nashville coffee, they have the bar set really, really high.
Right.
If like you don't know what good coffee is, like if you haven't tried like a Barista Parlor coffee, then you would probably think it was really, really great. But I'm also comparing to other places as well as price and proximity to my parents' house.
Yeah.
So if you are on that side of town, it is a good coffee. I'm not poo-pooing it. I'm just saying there's places by me that are closer and better and cheaper.
There's like, so my suggestions, there's this awesome place called Dunkin' and I get this really big tea.
But you know what I will say? My experience with Dunkin' in Nashville and Brentwood has been terrible because
really?
The line in the Brentwood one is always ridiculously long or like really slow is what I should say. And we went there one day, like before we left town, and Brian was like, let's just get on the road. And I was like, no, I just want to get like a tea before we get going. And we get in line and they are out of food. Like they didn't get their truck. So they have they didn't get anything. So like everybody was in line forever. And we thought, well, maybe faster to go inside. So then we get in line for that. And like, they didn't have literally no food. It was like really hit or miss as far as like what they had because they didn't get like their shipment didn't come. And then the one over by your church is awful.
Really?
Rosa Parks or whatever it is. I've literally sat in that line for 30 minutes twice. It was like the second time I did it, I was like, oh, that's this place. I remember now. Like
Yeah.
I will not come here again. It's just super slow. It's really weird.
I was going to say the next category we were going to talk about is breakfast, which now Tara can participate because she's been to a lot of breakfast places. So one of the ones that we recommend a lot because it's really like cutesy, because I feel like another thing about Nashville is it's become a very like foodie city. So a lot of chefs from big cities like Manhattan have come here to start restaurants. So there's a lot of like cutesy places, but there's a lot of places that are like that have really, really great food because chefs have come here and started restaurants. So one of the places we take people a lot is Liberty Common, which is like a Parisian inspired cafe, and it's very girly. So
and if you're going to eat there, for the love of God, sit on the back of your chair.
yeah, don't bring kids and sit on your chair.
Do not sit on the front edge so your chair comes flying out from under you and you hit your chin on the marble table.
I'll say my favorite, and then I'll let you guys say whichever ones you want. I have a list on my phone because people ask me so much. One of my favorite restaurants in general in Nashville is in East Nashville. It's called Cafe Rose. I've taken Tara there and my mom, but they have brunch and then they also have a lunch and dinner menu, and they have one of my favorite burgers in town, but it's another Parisian style cafe, and it actually feels like a modern day version of what kind of cafe you would eat at in Paris. It's like incredibly small, like Paris. There's only like a handful of tables. It's not easy to get into because there's always people there because the food's so good. The cocktails are awesome. They usually have Connie and Johnny donuts, which is all I want in life is Connie and Johnny donuts. And nobody ever has them on Saturdays. And they just have really, really good food. They have great salads. Their chicken is really good. The atmosphere is super cute, and just like everything there. The French fries are great. I don't know. What did you think of it when you went?
I don't remember it being good. I don't remember even honestly what I ordered, but I
You
remember
got the burger.
Okay.
We all three did, I think.
But yeah, I remember, I mean, it was a cute atmosphere, and I would definitely go back.
For sure. Wait, do you have a favorite breakfast spot?
So Isaac and I are, well, Isaac specifically is a donut guy. So we love Five Daughters. I feel like that's kind of a staple in Nashville. They serve like 1,000-layer cronuts or something.
Mm-hmm.
But they are delish. And then also Peace Love Donuts. That's more of like a chain, but Isaac is obsessed with it. They have these like little cake donuts that you can dip in chocolate frosting, and then a ton of different, well, I think there's actually multiple options of frosting, but a ton of different toppings that you can pick and choose. And then we have tried Biscuit Love, I think it's called, right? Mm-hmm. And that one is pretty good. We've never sat down there. We've only carried out, and they have really good breakfast sandwiches. And then they have these like almost like biscuit holes where you like dunk them in stuff. It's really good. If you're looking for a good biscuit in the morning, that's a good place to go. And then lastly, the place that Brenna used to work at, it's Golden.
Oh,
shoot, Golden.
Stay Golden.
Stay Golden. Thank you. That one has really good pastries.
Their coffee's good too.
Yeah, I haven't tried their coffee. I've only tried their pastries, but yeah, that one is a really good place. Very notable.
Wait, you did have their coffee because we went to their brunch for your birthday with Mom and Tara.
Oh, yes, you're right. I don't remember their coffee, so maybe their coffee is not notable. I don't know.
Feel like I don't remember what beans they use, but I feel like it's a Seattle situation. Maybe. Yeah. Or no, Stay Golden has their own beans.
Don't remember.
They roast their own beans.
One of the places that every time Brian comes to Nashville, that he makes us go eat at is Loveless Cafe, which is, it's like a good 25 or 30 minutes out of town, but it's like a iconic spot in Nashville. There's been like tons of famous people that have eaten there, and they have like their pictures up on the wall, but it's like good old hometown Southern cooking. Like if you want like hash brown casserole, and like the biscuits are honestly like the best part of it, because they have like a homemade jelly and these biscuits. The rest of it is like I could take or leave, but like he, for whatever reason, like is raves about it. But the other one that I have always liked for breakfast, even though it's a chain, is Puckett's. Like, I think that their breakfast is good.
Yeah, Puckett's is a place downtown that is literally like a 2.5 hour wait. Like one of my best friends, Dakota, used to be a manager at Puckett's, and like he used to hate it because it was so busy all the time. But they are known for just having like Southern classic cooking, and it is really good. It's just like very indulgent. The other places I wrote down as far as breakfast goes is there's a place called Fenwick's on 8th Avenue that has really amazing breakfast tacos, and they're more of like a classic like diner style, and they serve bongo coffee. I also love Milk and Honey, which is downtown. The Southern, which I don't know if it's in, it's called like Sobro, like South Broadway. I don't know if it still exists. I think they might have closed it, but if it's still there, go to the Southern. The Southern is known for like their oysters and like the classic like grits and like chicken and waffles and all the things. So it's like Southern breakfast, and they have really good Bloody Marys. There used to be this place called Kate and Jack's or something like that in Franklin. And they had the best Bloody Mary and the best brunch. And we used to go there all the time. And then they closed it, and I was like devastated. I was like,
oh,
no. And then the last place before we move on to lunch was Tara booked. It's actually next door to Liberty Common, is called Hampton Social. And Tara booked brunch for me, Whit, and Tara to go for my birthday last year. And it has a rooftop bar, and it is literally like Bachelorette Central. So it was so flippin' loud in there, but the food was awesome. I will give that to them.
And the vibe is really cute. Like, it has a cute floral wall that you can take a picture with. Like, it's very like
Instagrammable.
I was gonna say it's very Instagrammable.
There was one place that Isaac and I went for breakfast, and it was called like Bluebird. I know.
No, are you thinking Blue Sky Cafe?
Blue Sky. Yes, thank you. That place was bomb. They had like stacks of pancakes, and then they had this one French toast that was like Nutella and banana, and it was like stacked up. Oh my gosh, probably one of the best breakfasts I've had, and it's just like this tiny place in like a tiny hole in the wall.
One I will say not worth the wait is Pancake Pantry. Don't you feel
really?
Like, I just feel like that one's kind of overrated, where people like literally wait outside around the corner, and it tastes like the Pancake House. Like,
they opened a new location of that, actually. They opened a second location. And I'm trying to think of where I just saw that. We were just talking about it, but the Pancake Pantry is in Hillsborough Village, which is another really cute area right over by Vanderbilt and where all the hospitals are. And so there's a lot of students over there, and there's a bunch of cute like boutiques and shopping and a lot of like older restaurants. But anyways, this leads us into lunch. Mm-hmm. So one of my favorite lunch places, which this is not a place that people that visit go to, but I eat here for dinner maybe at least one time a week, is Baja Burrito. My friends are always like, don't tell people about Baja because it's like a local like favorite. And like one of my girlfriends, I like posted about Baja one time, and she was like, don't tell everyone about Baja because it's already so busy. But it's like if Chipotle was local, like that's the best way I can explain it. It's like you put together like your bowl or tacos or burrito, like a, what do you call that? Like an assembly line.
It's extremely unassuming. Like you pull up to it. First of all, if you can even find a parking spot, but you pull up to it and you're just like, whoa. Like,
it's always slammed.
Well, it's slammed, but also it looks real dirty.
Yeah, like it kind of looks like a hole in the wall, but the food is so good and it doesn't feel dirty. And they have the best queso I think I've ever had. They also have a salsa bar, which is a very California thing of them to do. The people that opened it are from Orange County, which is probably why I like it. It's the most authentic Mexican probably we have in town. And it's like one of my favorites. We literally just ate there like 3 nights ago. So what do you guys think? Lunch wise?
I was just gonna say I like Mas Taco better.
Yeah, I do too. Mas Taco is for sure a hole in the wall, but it's like a trendy hole in the wall.
Yeah.
And their tacos are top freaking notch. They're so good. And their tortilla soup is amazing. And
Gosh, I need to go there. We should go there this week. I haven't been to Mas Tacos in months. I used to go there twice a week when I lived in East.
yeah, it's so good. So Mas Tacos, it's a hidden gem. It actually was on Diner Drive-Ins and Dives, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like back in the day, like a long time ago, but it's so delicious.
They also added on to the building or took like a portion of the back and renovated it and made a bar. So you can order like margaritas and stuff there now if you want to go there for dinner or if you want a lunch marg or a beer. So they do have alcohol now, which is fun.
Well, like their horchata is good. They've got like the street corn that's really good. The chicken tortilla soup is good. The tacos are obviously fantastic. So there's just a lot of it that's good. I think Mas Taco is good. I don't think that there's anything like amazing. Like to me, yeah.
Mas Tacos?
Sorry, Baja.
Oh, Baja.
Yeah, Baja is like is good. It's better than like the run of the mill, but like I don't think that it's iconic in my head.
I agree with you. What?
Eaten queso. I think it's amazing. I also am like a repetitive eater. And so like Phil was like saying like, I'm such a monotonous eater. Like I get stuck on certain places and then like want to eat there forever.
No.
Yeah. I slowed down on Cava. I have not eaten at like when you said that earlier today and you're like, we should go to Cava for lunch. I was like, I haven't eaten at Cava since January. And I was getting it like 3 times a week. Like I was eating.
Shocking.
I know. So other lunch
talking about that's across the street from Moss is the pharmacy, which that one's kind of a fun vibe, especially when it's warm enough outside to sit outside.
The pharmacy is like a burger joint and it's kind of a 1920s vibe where it's like a soda fountain shop. Yeah. So they have a bar of like, what do they call them? Not spritzers, but they're
Italian
called
sodas.
What?
They have Italian sodas?
They're called phosphorus or something like that.
Yeah.
Something really fun. So anyways, it's a fun vibe and they have really good burgers. Yeah. They're known for, that's like all they serve are burgers.
Yeah, pretty much. That is another place that has a long wait and they don't usually do reservations. So like there's a lot of places in Nashville. I would just say too, as a general rule of thumb, like plan ahead and make reservations like months in advance, especially if you have a big party. Like someone messaged me and was like, she was like, where can I go for a girls trip with 8? And I was like, oh, like how soon are you coming? Like make reservations like 6 months in advance. Cause it's so hard to get into certain places if you don't have a reservation, or you just either need to eat really early, like geriatric dinners, which I'm all about. Like a 5 p.m. dinner is like my favorite thing ever. Cause I love like then going to Dairy Queen and then being home by 7:30. It's like the best feeling ever. We don't do gourmet dessert around here. Me and Phil are always like, let's go get a cone. And it was cone day the other day. I just happened to want to go to Dairy Queen and we got free cones. It was cone day.
Wow.
Pretty awesome. But anyways, plan really far in advance, at least 1 to 2 months. If you know you're coming, just start calling the places you want to go to, or just expect to wait an hour because unfortunately, there's like a lot of these places that are just slammed all the time. The tourism here is like absolutely exploded and it's like ridiculous. It feels like Chicago now. Like you can't get anywhere without a reservation.
And a good lunch place that I love is North Italia, which is over at Green Hills Mall. The original, or at least the one that we started going to, is in California, and they have a focaccia bread that has like a ricotta cheese on top that has like some sprinkled Parmesan and then like a side of marinara that is like fantastic.
Never fails. She's just going to explain it in detail until you're starving.
It's truffle, isn't it? It's truffle.
Truffle focaccia.
Yeah. It's insane.
Yeah, it's even better. And then they have a my favorite pasta dish is called strozzapetti, and it's because their pasta is homemade.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it's not a full like cavatappi, but it's sort of like a curly pasta, and it has chicken and pine nuts and spinach, I believe. And it's like a cream sauce, and every bit of it is just fabulous. To the point that I recommend it to everyone. and it makes you want to lick your bowl. And something about the pine nuts in there would have a little bit of crunch. And the pasta, it's like a weird mix, but it's so good.
Tara's mouth is watering. She's talking about it.
We lived there actually when she was here 2 weeks ago.
I talked Marissa into it. I was like, do you want me to pick out the restaurants or do you have something in mind? She's like, no, you just pick. And so we just went to all my favorites.
That's funny.
Another notable place, one that you definitely want to try to get a reservation for and don't really bring kids, is Bar Taco. The best margarita in town, in my opinion.
I would agree.
Or that I've tried.
Yeah.
So good. And their tacos are delish. And it's very much so like you can order as you go. Like if you want to order more, you can. Like so good. And their guac is good. Their tacos are great. I always put them on bib leaf lettuce. So if you want a low carb situation, they've got you covered. So yummy.
They are so good. And honestly, Bar Taco's green verde salsa is like my favorite in the world. Bar Taco is a chain. The other one I was going to bring up that's good for lunch, brunch, or dinner. I've literally eaten there so many times. It's like ridiculous, is True Food Kitchen. It's another one that started in California, in Orange County. It was the first place we had it, in Newport Beach. And it's a health food restaurant. Oh my gosh, what's happening? If you're watching the YouTube channel, Tara's blowing up a balloon.
But children will stop coming down the basement. It's like they never want to come down here, but then as soon as I'm down here, they're like moths to a flame.
That's funny. But they have these like edamame truffle dumplings. They have amazing hummus. And then I always get the kale salad with grilled chicken. It's like what the chef is known for. He like made up this kale recipe. But the grain bowls are amazing. They have pizza. They literally have like stuff for kids and everyone. And their Arnold Palmer, their iced passion tea is unbelievable. And they make fresh lemonade. So it's unbelievable. And
I did not care for that one. It was a little too healthy for me.
You can probably try again.
It was like green tea instead of black tea. It just like everything about it. I just remember even Dad was like, yuck. Like, so it just kind of depends on
big eye roll.
I fully disagree with that. I don't even like edamame, but those edamame dumplings, I literally could lick my plate.
It was
so good. And then the kale salad, so good.
Their definitely pizza is good. Like they have steak, they have chicken, they literally have like pork, they have everything you could think of. It's like a massive menu. It's like enormous. So I feel like you could try again and find something you probably really like.
I don't remember my food necessarily being bad. I just remember thinking like, if you don't even have regular iced tea, like what, like it's just a weird
iced tea just really threw her off.
It did. I was like, I felt like
started her off on the wrong foot,
or like a ginger tea or I don't know. I was just like, no, I just want black iced tea. Like I just don't like it when people get fancy, like with that kind of stuff. And a lot of those health food places have to put like, taro root and something. It's just always like weird.
You're allowed to have your opinion, and that's totally fine. The very last one I was going to mention is Mitchell's Deli, which is in East Nashville. And then also Bill's Sandwich Palace, which is like one of my new favorite places. I've only had it once and I follow them on Instagram and it makes my mouth water. It's these people that like essentially made like kind of like a satire sandwich place. And they only did it on the weekends. You used to have to order ahead, and they actually just opened their own restaurant. And the sandwiches are like kind of over the top, but they're unbelievable. So both of those sandwich places are great. Okay. Moving into dinner. There's so many, but do you guys want to say your favorites?
So my favorite, place that I feel like is expensive, but is super good that we've been to a couple of times now is Bourbon Steak. Mm-hmm. That one's fun because the view is really pretty. You're downtown, but you're overlooking the city. It's at the top of the JW, I think, right?
You have to have a reservation like months in advance for this. So if you want to come for like an anniversary and you're coming in like 3 months, call now and just take whatever you can get. Even if it's at like 9:30, it's worth it because the food's amazing.
The food is good. And then like instead of bread, they do like a flight of French fries with like 3 different dipping sauces. So it's just something different. Yeah. They have, at least they used to, they had like a lobster pot pie on the menu, and it comes out in this huge like bronze pot.
Yes. It's huge.
But everything I've had there is fabulous.
I like that place because it's like an experience, you know? Even when you go to the bathroom, there's like this floor to ceiling window that you're just like a view of the city while you're peeing. And you're like, wow, this is gorgeous.
It's so good. One of my favorite places that I take guests a lot, which we just went, was Barcelona. It's a wine bar and tapas, and you can eat. Tara thinks it's called Biblioteca because she
I
can never
cannot get it through my head that it's Barcelona. In my head, it's Biblioteca,
which is the Spanish word for library. But it's a Spanish wine bar and tapas, and it's busy, but I feel like it's not a tourist place. Like every once in a while I'll see a bachelorette place there, but it's in oh crap, what's that neighborhood called? It's close to Belmont, the school, and there's a name for that area, and I can't think of what it's called. But every part of Nashville has little neighborhood names, and I can't think of what it's called. But it has really amazing tapas. Like you can order, well, first of all, they come really fast, but you can like order 5 to 8. I would say if you have a group of 4, order 8 tapas and 2 entrees. That's what I always do. The wine list is really awesome. The cocktails are good. They have sangria pitchers that you can share. And it's a really cool vibe. Like it feels very like Nashville. It's very artsy. And the service is really fast, I would say.
And I like it because you get to try a bunch of different things. Like you don't have to be stuck with us. I mean, I feel like if you're coming with husbands don't typically love tapas. They want to eat like an actual like full plate. But I think for girls night outs and stuff, especially, it's good because girls like to just like graze.
Yeah. Another place that I just took Tara in, I feel sad because like all these places I've taken Tara and mom, and I feel like Whitney hasn't been there for, but is Lachlan Table. Why weren't you there last time? Was Tara just here alone?
I just come a lot.
That's true. You might come more. It's like California. You were there a lot more. Lachlan Table is a farm to table restaurant in East Nashville, and it's been there forever. It's like, it's not really a touristy spot. Again, I feel like that's a very like local loved spot. Like my girlfriend just went there for her husband's birthday 2 nights ago. Like I feel like it's not one of those places that a lot of people talk about, but if you live here, you know about it, and the food is incredible. Everything is good.
That's the place that you brought me a shirt and I changed.
Yes, you changed in the bathroom. Do you have any, Whitney, that you want to talk about?
The one that I remember being really cool, but I don't even know if it's still there because I was pregnant with Indy when we went. But was it Virago? It was like a almost
Sushi?
like, yeah, like a sushi place.
Virago's so good.
Yeah, Virago was like, I like places for dinner that are like a full-on experience. As if I don't have kids, I like places where I can have like a full-on experience. And Virago was one of those where I was like, wow, this is so fun.
I don't know if Virago still has this, but Virago used to have the coolest happy hour. And they have a rooftop bar that overlooks downtown. And it is like one of the dreamiest like views. And just like, I don't know, the bar is really cool. They play good music. I went there one time with our cousin Walls and Rachel, I think it was, for happy hour at like 5. And they did like sushi roll flights that you could get for happy hour. I don't know if, like I said, this was pre-COVID, so I'm not sure if it still exists, but the view is really pretty. And it's like, if it's nice out, I want to sit on a patio. Another family favorite. And again, this one's probably more touristy because it's in Germantown, but I've taken you guys to Butchertown Hall like a ton. Butchertown Hall is the weirdest food concept on the planet. It's like Southwest meets German meats is what they originally said. It's so strange. But they have smoked meats that you can get into tacos. Like you can get like barbacoa or pulled pork, and they have really good chicken tacos. They have the best queso ever. They have really thick chips. They have really good margaritas, but they have a really awesome patio too. So like when it's nice out, it's so good to sit there.
One that mom and dad love that I don't think any of us like are in love with is Jimmy Kelly's. Like,
I love Jimmy Kelly's.
It's like it's an older, more like historical spot, right?
It's where old people eat steak. It's like the Cracker Barrel of steakhouses.
I haven't had anything there that I've been like bowled over by. Like I think
the blue cheese steak.
What?
Did you get the blue cheese steak?
I don't like blue cheese. Here's the thing. I like steakhouses, but I don't typically like, I know as much as I love meat, I don't crave like a big hearty steak necessarily.
I don't either, but if I'm at a steak, I'm going to a steakhouse tonight actually. And I usually like steakhouses a lot. Okay. I'll give you guys like 2 more and we'll have to do a part 2 because there's just so many of these that I feel like it's way too hard. One place I just went for a birthday party and it was so cool. And I feel like it's more chill. So there's a place actually across the street, like catty corner from Lachlan Table called, Urban Cowboy. And it's a bed and breakfast in this like really old Victorian house. And then across, like attached to the property is this courtyard, and it has a fire pit and like an indoor kind of like bar and like seating area. And then the courtyard goes out to the fire pit so people can like come in and out of that. And it has a food truck that makes authentic Italian pizzas. And it's so freaking good. So the bed and breakfast that's in the Victorian home, the main floor is really small and it has a bar, and it's like the coziest place ever. It feels like you're in this like teeny little boutique hotel. There's all these little couches and booths that you can sit in. And it's just like, we went at Christmas time for Jacob's birthday, and they had like a Christmas tea and they had a jazz live band, like a 3-piece band in the other room that was playing Christmas music. And it was so good. So you can order pizza at the food truck and then they'll deliver it to either the bed and breakfast side or into like the courtyard and the bar area. But I'm actually going there for a birthday party Sunday night for my friend Grace. And I'm so excited to get the pizza because it's like actually legit good. Like it's weird that it's a food truck and the pizza's like insane. They make it in like a pizza oven situation. So it's really vibey. It's really different. The first time I ever went, I took Dad. He came with us when we were meeting the Rudders and the Moseses one time. And he was like, this is different. We just sit around this fire. I was like, yeah. But it was super cool. And he was like, this is so Nashville. We're like in it because it's in a neighborhood. Like it's like Nashville, East Nashville, especially is like this. It's like house, restaurant, bar, house. Like everything is like weirdly all mixed up. So it does feel very like funny how you're just randomly in a restaurant.
Well, the other pizza place that you recommended the last time we were in town was it Desano's?
Desano's is insane.
Yeah, that one was downtown, and that one was really good. It's like wood-fired pizza, and it was fabulous.
Yes.
Yeah, that one's really good. And then Isaac and I, after your wedding, we went across the street to Mafiosa's. And I'm talking about it, my mouth is watering. It's probably one of the best pizzas.
It's so
ever.
good. Mafiosa's was me and Phil's spot when we were dating. They used to have 2-for-1s on Tuesday, 2-for-1 slices and 2-for-1 beers. And so Phil would get 2 slices and 2 beers. And I didn't drink beer. So I'd always get a glass of wine. And we would either go just the 2 of us, or his roommate at the time, Christian Rich, would always come with us. And we used to go every single Tuesday, like literally used to eat. Like, I wonder why I gained weight when I moved here, because I ate at the Nordstrom E-Bar or the cafe every day. I ate Chipotle for dinner, or I ate pizza. And like, I literally ate my way through Nashville and was like, it was fine. This was before Nashville cost like $50 every time you go out. This was like, you could eat for $18 and it was like not what it is now. Okay, last but not least, let me go back through my list for dinner spots to make sure there's nothing like glaringly obvious. Another really cool restaurant that I didn't mention that I just tried for the first time that's also tapas is over in Sylvan Park, and it's called Lola. And the cocktails were so good and the food was incredible. I want to go back with you guys. I think it's a very like girly place because it's like small plates. But I went with my friend Jess and we like had the best time. The food was incredible.
Well, and then of course there's Chewy's.
Yes, Chewy's. My door. Someone just rang my doorbell. I don't answer the phone when I'm home alone.
They probably want to distract you so they can rob you from the back.
Break in my back door. I'm like looking at my back door, like anybody there? Okay, really quick, we'll do shopping. So 12 South has a bunch of boutiques that you can go to. Green Hills Mall is like the main, it has Nordstrom and like all the designers. He's like literally just standing there.
Because he can probably see you sitting at your counter.
I know, it's so awkward. Hang on.
I'm sure it's a delivery person. Why don't you answer?
But he's not like, because a lot of people just stand there and wait for me to come. And then they try to sell you stuff because I'm in a new neighborhood.
Wow.
but I already got lawn care set up and I already got a mosquito guy. So like, what else do you want from me? And I already had my roof looked at.
Just keep going. He'll leave eventually.
It's true.
It's a battle of wills at this point. It's
I know
who's going to bend first.
So the last few I put Hillsborough Village has boutiques, Fifth and Broadway, which I didn't even get to the tourist spot. So I guess I should touch on this really quick. If you want to go downtown Broadway, the easiest thing to do is to park in the garage at Fifth and Broadway. It's a new shopping center. They also have like high-rise apartments above it, and it has a big garage, and it's across the street from Bridgestone Arena. So if you're either going to a concert or you just want to like go to the honky tonks, you can park there. And it's like, I think event parking is usually like $25. They have tons of cool local restaurants in Fifth and Broadway. It's not just a bunch of chains, which is really cool. So they have all local restaurants, all local shopping. And then they have like a couple non-local like Sephora and Free People and stuff like that. And then downtown Franklin is adorable. It's a historic like Civil War town that has a bunch of really cute shopping and coffee and restaurants. And then Opry Mills is the outlet, which...
Did you say the Galleria?
Oh, no, I didn't. Opry Mills. Wait, no. Yeah, Opry Mills, go at your own risk.
No, for real.
Your car might get broken into in the parking lot.
It's true. Isaac wanted to go because he's like, oh, at Outlet Mall, like, and they have like Nike and Adidas. They do. Mm-hmm. It is terrifying.
It is. Like, it's not the best. And then, Cool Springs has the Galleria Mall, which has a lot.
Galleria, I feel like is probably the most like normal mall, like and
they're stacked. They have like a lot of really good
stuff. Like Green Hills is nice, but it's all the high end stores. So like Nordstrom is probably the highlight of that one.
No, because they have a really awesome Zara, and then they have 2 Aerie stores, which they have Aerie offline, which is super cool. I've never seen an Aerie offline, and then they have regular Aerie, and then they have a big Abercrombie. I feel like and they're getting like, I don't know, they got an Aritzia, which is pretty cool.
Well, yeah, it's not a bad mall. It's still a good mall. I'm just saying it has a lot of high-end stores.
It does. It has a lot of designer, like Golden Goose, Louis Vuitton, Gucci. It has like a bunch of high-end, but it does also have an Ulta and a Sephora. They have 2 makeup stores. I'm trying to think of what else is in there.
Whereas Galleria's got like a very large Forever 21. It has a very large H&M. Yeah. Well, you all know the reason that I love the Galleria that you've been holding out on me now for 5 straight years until I found it this summer is a Cotton On Kids.
Oh, I don't know that. I don't walk that mall.
I was going to say, Kate never goes to that mall. It's Green Hills all the way for Kate. Of course she's not going to know.
I only go in there for Bath and Body Works candles and walk right out.
That was literally the one thing that I missed about Irvine Spectrum is because it had Cotton On Kids. And then I come last summer and I'm like, you mean to tell me that we've been coming here for 4 dang years and no one has informed me that there's a Cotton On Kids?
Honestly,
mom and dad's house.
That's your own fault.
Well, because here's the thing.
If you went to the mall as much as Isaac and I did, you would know
every day.
I did not know that the Galleria and the Opry Mills outlet were not the same thing. Like
they're like opposite ends of Nashville.
I know, but Kate had like in my head, the only mall that we went to was Green Hills, and Opry Mills was the one that you go at your own at your own
risk. You said misc. I'm like, what are you saying?
Go at your own risk. And so I didn't realize there was another one because like you said, I just apparently don't shop very much when I'm down there.
Yeah. And honestly, like, I was just saying on the live the other day, like, I don't really shop in general that much unless I get stuff from Royal and Reese because I haven't really thought about it lately. And, just in general, I feel like a lot of the stuff that we wear is from our own brand. So I don't really like I used to go to the mall all the freaking time. I used to live at Nordstrom like every weekend. Anytime friends were in town, we would just always make a Nordstrom run. And now I just really don't do that anymore. When I went with you guys, with Marissa, I didn't even get anything.
It was kind of a weird time of year. I feel like January, February, you don't quite have spring out. It was kind of like an in-between time. But I feel like Nordstrom's also going through kind of a weird phase of like, I just haven't found as much stuff there as I used to.
Yeah, a lot of it's moved to online, which is harder to sift through just because they have a lot of product. So Well, I didn't even get to like things to do with kids or like bars or like cocktail places, or where to go as a tourist. I feel like we need to do a part 2 to this like next week or while you guys are here, because there's so much more to talk about, or maybe we can even do it on the Patreon, but at least this gives you some recommendations that maybe you wouldn't see just like people always recommending from like a tourist perspective. And it can give you like ideas of where people that come here often or live here would go to. So anyways, okay, guys, we love you. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Patreon, the Sisterhood Society podcast. If you like what you heard, please make sure to follow us on YouTube and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Leave us a comment. Let us know your favorite Nashville places, as well as if you can leave a 5-star review on Apple. That really helps our podcast a lot. We love you, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.